Chapter 1. The Torrential Descent. The air was crisp and cool as five friends set out on their weekend escape from the bustling city. Alex, Sarah, Mark, Lisa, and Jake had been planning this trip for months. A secluded cabin deep in the heart of the forest promised respite from their demanding lives. The excitement was palpable as they embarked on their journey, their laughter echoing through the car's interior, and the promise of adventure twinkling in their eyes. The road snaked through dense woods, a verdant canopy overhead. The sky was a perfect blue, without a hint of a cloud, it seemed. The weather was cooperating with their plans for a relaxing weekend away from the pressures of modern life. After a couple of hours on the road, the group found themselves surrounded by towering trees, their leaves casting dappled shadows on the road below. A sense of isolation began to set in as signs of civilization grew scarce, yet this only added to the excitement. They were determined to enjoy every moment of this escape. As the sun started its gradual descent, they finally reached the cabin. It stood as a rustic haven, its wooden exterior blending seamlessly with the natural landscape. The sounds of birdsong and rustling leaves welcomed them, a far cry from the honking horns and constant hum of the city. The cabin's interior was cozy and inviting, with a crackling fireplace and comfortable furniture. After settling in, the group shared stories, laughter, and a sumptuous meal. The evening progressed, marked by games, drinks, and the kind of carefree camaraderie that only old friends could share. Time lost its meaning as the hours slipped away, but as the night wore on, the distant rumble of thunder signaled an unexpected change. The forecast had predicted clear skies, yet nature had other plans. A heavy rain started to fall, each drop pelting against the cabin's windows like the hurried footsteps of a stranger in the night. They gathered around the window, their earlier excitement replaced by a sense of unease. The forest, once inviting, now seemed imposing in the dim light, the trees swaying ominously in the strengthening wind. Thunder cracked overhead, and lightning illuminated the darkness, casting eerie shadows that danced on the walls. The group exchanged nervous glances, trying to maintain their composure. Well, I guess our plans for stargazing are out the window, Mark joked, attempting to lighten the mood. But his attempt fell flat in the face of the increasing storm. The rain intensified, a relentless torrent that pounded against the cabin's roof like an insistent drumbeat. Their anxiety deepened with each passing moment. The cabin's wooden frame creaking under the pressure of the storm's fury. They retreated to their beds, hoping that the tempest would abate by morning. Sleep was elusive. As the storm raged on throughout the night, the wind howled like a mournful ghost, and the cabin seemed to groan in protest. Dreams were haunted by the sound of raindrops tapping on windows, A relentless and maddening rhythm. Morning arrived, but the storm showed no signs of letting up. The group's plans for hiking and exploring were dashed, leaving them trapped within the cabin's walls. Tension hung in the air like a heavy fog, and unease settled in the pit of their stomachs. As the day stretched on, the friends tried to distract themselves with games and conversation, but the atmosphere was palpably different. Their laughter was forced, and their conversations were punctuated by awkward silences. The storm had cast a shadow over their once joyous retreat, and a sense of foreboding had taken hold. As evening approached, the rain finally began to subside. The group gathered once more by the window, watching as the final raindrops trickled down the glass. The forest outside stood in a state of disarray, its natural beauty marred by the storm's fury. The sky, now tinged with shades of orange and pink, held the promise of a calm evening. But just as they thought the worst was over, something caught their attention. Out of the corner of their eyes, they saw movement in the trees. At first, they dismissed it as a trick of their exhausted minds, but as they continued to watch, a chilling realization set in. The trees were moving, not swaying in the wind, but moving with purpose, as if something was lurking among them. A collective gasp escaped their lips as a figure emerged from the woods. It moved with an unnatural grace, its form obscured by shadows. Heartbeats quickened, and a hushed silence settled over the cabin. The figure drew closer, its features slowly becoming discernible. It was a woman dressed in tattered clothing, her hair matted and wild. Her eyes gleamed with an otherworldly intensity, fixing on the cabin's occupants with a haunting gaze. Before anyone could react, the woman raised her arm, pointing a bony finger at the cabin. In a voice that seemed to echo from the depths of the forest itself, she spoke a single word, a name that set shivers down their spine and froze the blood in their veins. The woman's lips curved into a twisted smile, and in an instant, she disappeared back into the woods, leaving the group paralyzed with fear. As the last traces of daylight faded, the cabin was cloaked in an eerie silence. The storm had passed, but a different kind of darkness had settled in. The friends exchanged uncertain glances, the weight of the encounter sinking in. Unanswered questions hung in the air, and a sense of urgency stirred within them. What did that name mean? Who was the woman? And why had she singled them out? And what horrors lay hidden within the depths of the forest? With a trembling resolve, they knew they had to find out. As they huddled together, preparing to face the unknown, the first chapter of their harrowing tale came to an end, but the true nightmare was only just beginning.